Hello and welcome to the Scott Sports Show. I'm Drew Patrick. Joined with me as always is Mike Fenner. We have a fantastic show for you today, and we'll start it off, like always, with the Scots of the Week, starting on the women's side.
Congratulations to Carly Naska, who dominated the first game of a doubleheader with Gannon on Saturday afternoon. The freshman pitched a complete game, giving up just one hit and walked one while striking out a pair of batters. Congratulations to Carly Naska, our female Scot of the Week.
On the men's side, it's tennis's Vitor Albanese. He was named PSAC Men's Tennis Athlete of the Week for the second straight week after posting a pair of wins over top-ranked opponents. At West Liberty on Friday, the second-ranked singles player in Atlantic Region by Oracle ITA defeated the region's top-ranked Baptiste Piren 6-4, 6-4, and he then paired up with his teammate Camilo Moncoyo to beat Andrew Ponder and Santiago Gutierrez, the number one duo in the region, by an 8-6 score. On Saturday at Davis and Elkins College, he defeated Vincent Hammond 6-2, 6-3, and with Moncoyo beat Hammond and Jack Clifton 8-6. Congratulations to Vitor Albanese. We also had some news on the basketball front. Mike, what was that news?
That's exactly right. Honors continue to pile in for Henri Wade Chapman and Jamin Mason, who were the PSAC's top scoring duo this year at over 41 points a game. And for those two gentlemen getting All-American honors by Division II Bulletin as two of four PSAC players to make that, they were honorable mentions as All-Americans, so they continue to rack up those awards. And of course, those two, this is their last year playing together. So unfortunately, it'll just be one in Mason coming back, not Wade Chapman, but still great to see those guys doing so well this year.
And we have a fantastic show for you today, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
My experience at Perico has been so great. I feel like it's really my time for school now. I tried going back to school when I first graduated from high school. I just wasn't ready.
It's closer to home. It's very much more affordable than the other colleges in the city. When I finished my degree here at Perico, it would provide me with higher pay. I can actually grow more in my company than I would if I wasn't going to school.
Perico College, affordable, career-ready education.
We dig deep.
We overcome obstacles.
We come together.
We prepare.
We hit the ground running.
And we achieve our goals.
We train hard.
And we compete even harder.
We reach new heights.
We win. And at Edinburgh University, we create champions on and off the field.
NCAA Division II has much to cheer about, as nearly 100,000 student athletes compete with passion and pride. And I'm pleased to share the best news of all. Student athletes are outperforming the rest of the D2 student body in graduation rates. Just another reason why you'll hear us say with pride, I chose Division II. Learn more at d2sa.org.
Welcome back to the Scott Sports Show. We will now talk Edinboro softball as we are now joined by head coach Dan Gierlach and freshman pitcher Carly Naska. So let's start with you, Coach. We started off the year on a trip down in Florida. What did you see with your girls over spring break down in the warm weather?
First off, it was nice to be outside. It was nice to get warm. Get a little sun on your face and that. But we played a great schedule down there. I know we were 5-7. We could easily been, 10-2, 11-1. You look at some of the teams that we played a great quality. From Ashland, who's traditionally in that region, one of the top programs. Saginaw Valley was a great game against them. And even Mankato out of Michigan, which are top 10, ranked top 10, and we lost to them 2-1 in extra innings. Carly pitched that game, so we saw a lot of good things, but played a great level of competition.
And for your first really collegiate experience, being able to play where it's not going to be the weather you get up here, how was that like for you?
Yeah, I feel like I was able to get really comfortable on the field and get to know my teammates and stuff, and I could get the jitters out, so it was good.
And how much of a team bonding experience is that? Because yes, it is your spring break and you're playing and you're not close to home. So how have you developed as a team because of that trip?
Oh, I feel like that made a huge difference. Like, I knew my whole team before that, but you just get to know them so much better when you go down to Florida and just rooming with them and stuff. It's really awesome.
And then we moved to PSAC play this past week. We didn't beat Seton Hill, but we ended up getting a sweep of Gannon, first sweep since 2013 of Gannon. How do you feel about that, Coach?
Well, I think part of it was with the weather. It's tough to know when you're going to schedule games. That was a conference game. Had I known the weather was going to be 70 degrees, we'd have played a little bit before that. But you never know. Playing against Seton Hill traditionally is a pretty good team. We looked like we hadn't played in 10, 12 days. Been outside. So I think that gave us a chance to get the jitters out. Gannon traditionally. We have wars against them being, up in Erie, and it was great to sweep them. Of course, it's great to sweep anybody. But even against Seton Hill, we put ourselves in position to win both games, and we didn't get it done. But that helps us, so.
And Carly, against Gannon, having that complete game pitched, what was that feeling like for you, in your first season to have a performance like that in such a big type of matchup?
Yeah, I didn't even know that we hadn't swept Gannon since 2013, but I just went in ready. I knew we were kind of rivals with them, so I was really excited.
And for your efforts, you were named Female Scot of the Week. So as a freshman, to get that honor, what does that feel like?
I wasn't expecting it. And then yesterday I came to practice. I didn't even know. And Sam was like, "Oh, congratulations, Carly." And I was like, "For what?" And then, I don't know, it was cool.
And Coach, to see your young pitcher, who you're going to have for a while now, be able to have such a dominant performance early on in her career, how much confidence does that give you?
It gives me great confidence in her. I've had confidence in her for well, and I think once she got herself out there and realized that I can do this, she hides the ball pretty well. Our kids hate hitting off her because they don't see the ball, and that's what she does to a lot of people. So I think that the upside with Carly, and that's what I told her even in recruiting, I thought the upside of her is going to be exceptional. And it's great confidence, but our conference, you can be that high one day and come back the next day and be that low because it is a rat race. But she's done great. She really has, and I think she's rallied the other, kids around her, and they realize what they have, she steps on the mound. So, and she's done it time and time again. She's given up very few runs, at least earned runs. We got to stop making errors behind her. And me and Carly had that discussion, this week, with it. But we got to start playing defense behind her and giving her a little bit more support. Now you play Mankato and you play, teams like that. That's going to be a dogfight, and it was. I think, in Seton Hill, Carly had 4 pitches and we'd taken turns beating around in the infield, and should have been out of it. So I think we had the jitters worked out, but she can be as good as she wants to be,
And coming up this weekend, we have 2 more doubleheaders in the PSAC. We have Cal and then Slippery Rock. What are the team goals for these games?
Well, you want to win as many games as possible. Mm-hmm. I think we're as good as Cal. I think we're better than Slippery Rock. It's not saying that, they're both doing extremely well. I think California last year finished 3rd in the country, 3rd or 4th in the country. They got an All-American pitcher. And it depends on your approach. You get up there and let her, throw it by you. You don't go up there and swing. It's going to be a long day for you. So you better be swinging. Mm-hmm. Same thing in playing defense. They're going to put the ball in play. You got to play defense. Slippery Rockers down at their field is a short porch, and they swing it. They'll attack the ball. So the conference doesn't get any easier. I mean, everybody in the conference, you're good enough to beat everybody. Everybody's good enough to beat you.
And Coach, how much confidence do you and your team have after those Gannon wins? You have those opportunity games like Cal, some other opponents here, and it's mostly going to be now PSAC West here for the most part throughout the rest of the season. So how much confidence do you think you have right now trying to continue that upward trend?
I think we have really good confidence in ourselves. I think with the pitching that we do have, we can hang with anybody. Again, you got to score runs, and I think we have some upperclassmen swing the bat, very well. Brooke Callaghan and Haley Strubing and Kylie Mason really came on, this past week, down at Gannon. So we get them swinging the bat. So I think we can play with anybody. We can also, we're looking at pitches against their All-American, and you'll be in trouble. But I think we'll be okay. I think it's the conference is you beat each other up in the conference, and it's one of the best Division II conferences in the country. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach, and thank you, Carly, for joining us here today on the Scott Sports
Anytime.
Show.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
And the Scott Sports Show will roll along right after this. Don't go anywhere.
To compete for a championship in stadiums full with cheering fans and families. To give back. To say thank you for your support. To learn, grow, and prepare for the future. Ask any NCAA student-athlete what they want, and this is what they'll tell you. Ask these student-athletes, and they'll say with pride, I chose Division II.
The NCAA Division II student-athlete experience goes beyond the classrooms and playing fields. It means a commitment to service and community, helping organizations like the Make-A-Wish Foundation by raising money to help grant the wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions. Kids like Jacob.
Some student-athletes gave of their time and their energy to raise the money.
It was fun to meet Jeff Gordon.
NCAA Division II, training student-athletes for lifelong achievement.
And now I'm joined here by Coach Bobby Babich, Edinboro's new defensive coordinator, as of course Coach Justin Lustig has finalized his new football staff. Coach, welcome to Edinboro.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. We're really excited about what's going on, and my family's really excited about coming to Edinboro.
Of course, now being the new defensive coordinator and defensive backs coach, you've got a pretty good background with defensive backs and in the secondary. Talk about sort of your experience with the Cleveland Browns most recently and coaching some guys such as Joe Hayden, TJ Ward, so on and so forth.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity for me. The last 5 years I've been in the NFL, and it's been a great opportunity for me to be around those guys and the professionals and to see the way they go about their business every day. It was really a great opportunity for me. This is the next step in hopefully what I want to be a long career, but I'm really excited to be here.
And what sort of experience can you take from being an NFL assistant to being now a coordinator and being in charge of an entire defense and trying to run that thing?
Yeah, and that's a great opportunity, like I said before, for me to take the step to become the coordinator and run the show. You learn a lot about the process and how you want to structure things as a defensive coordinator while in the NFL, and really excited about the opportunity and about what we're going to be about on defense.
And of course, you coached with the Cleveland Browns and with Carolina before that. But before those NFL stops, being at Eastern Illinois, sort of talk about that connection with yourself and Coach Lustig and how you get here.
Yeah. So I was young. I was 23 years old. I got my first full-time job at Eastern Illinois, and Coach Lustig was there when I got there. And we're very similar people. We have the same expectations and the same values, so it was easy for us to make a connection. And he got the job, and after we got fired in Cleveland, he asked me to join him, and I did, and he provided me a great opportunity, and really excited to be here with him.
And right out of the gates, what did he tell you about this new program so far in Edinboro and the opportunity, I guess?
Right, and what he talked about, what sold me was the tradition. There's a lot of tradition at Edinboro. I know as of late there was results haven't been where Edinboro wants the results to be. But our job as a new coaching staff is make sure that we set the new expectations and to make sure we get back to the level that Edinboro was at one point.
And what are some of the things you believe in terms of schematically and philosophy-wise as a defensive-minded coach to try and turn things around? Because this unit has struggled as of late.
Right, and I believe where we're going to go with this is it's going to be all based off fundamentals. You know, whatever defense I call, it's not on me, it's on the players. So we want to make sure that they are fundamentally sound. So we're going to run to the football, we're going to be a great tackling team, and we're going to create takeaways. That's what our motto is going to be. And if you'd ask any player right now, that's what we've been preaching to them.
What have you seen so far out of these players now that you got a chance to work with them in spring ball and getting these drills going?
I think we have a lot of talent. I do. The process is going to take some time, to get to where we want to go, but I do truly believe that we have the pieces. We just got to make sure we develop the pieces and continue to push forward and create a high-level expectation. And I can't speak enough about our defensive staff. Coach Neely on the D-line, Coach Bradford, and Coach Lustig with the linebackers. They are really, really good coaches, and they're doing a great job helping to develop and being teachers for their guys.
And although you guys kind of come late in the game here, you have the recruiting cycle that's got so much time taken up.
Yep.
How do you sort of maximize your time now between getting through spring ball and then getting ready for the season and in the summer and everything that goes into it?
I mean, and Coach Lustig talks about sense of urgency all the time. And that's something we have to believe in and we have to buy into. So we just got to step up our sense of urgency as a football team, not just a defense, not just an offense, not just a special teams. As a football team, our sense of urgency has to be at a very high level. And we are preaching that every day as a staff, as a coaching staff, to the players.
Of course, this staff now that's been finalized is sort of a mix of guys that have been here, guys that are coming in new like yourself. How do you sort of rely on some of the guys that have been around this program, been around the PSAC, to know what this conference is like and what the competition level is like?
I think, I believe that Wayne Bradford's done a great job for us defensively. I can only speak to us defensively. He's done a great job just throwing out nuances of the league as we start talking about anything, scheme, our fundamentals, the things we want to preach, just knowing the character of teams, especially on the West and in the PSAC, of what this conference is all about. He's done a great job with that.
So there you have it, Coach Bobby Babich, the new defensive coordinator for Edinboro football. Coach, once again, welcome to Edinboro.
Absolutely.
Thanks so
Thank
much
you.
for taking the time and talking to us. And more Scott Sports Show up next.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up?
Oh, we finally bought a place.
Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Was it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
And we continue our Borough football chatter here during spring football. Of course, I'm now joined by new offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Limbach. Coach, welcome to Edinboro. So, Coach, getting things started, talk about your connection with Coach Lustig. Of course, as he finalized the staff, comes and gets you, brings you to Edinboro. What can you talk about with your connection going back in the coaching ranks?
Sure. Yeah, I had the privilege to work with Coach Lustig at two different places, starting off at Eastern Illinois, where I was an undergrad assistant coach, and then I went to Louisiana with the Raging Cajuns, and I was there for one full year, and then Coach Lustig joined us down there for another 2 years. So worked with him at a couple of different spots. Really had a great opportunity to build that relationship during that time.
And Coach, your most recent stop being at Center College as an offensive line coach. You had 3 straight years with a 1,000-yard rusher. Hadn't done that in the program since 1995. What can you say about the way your philosophy talks about running the football and being a physical unit?
I mean, when we talk about running the football, being physical is huge. You hit it. I think the thing that we do best, and my philosophy offensively, is we want to take what the defense gives us. So if they're taking away the pass, we need to be able to execute and be able to run the football. And so when you talk about running the football, that's where I think you got to just be able to execute and get the job done.
And now that you've gotten settled in a little bit here, not totally probably, but still trying to figure things out. Now that you've got here, what have you seen from your personnel here at Edinboro? You've got an entire offense here to work with, and you've got some young quarterbacks. I mean, what can you say about the personnel you've got so far in spring football?
The number one thing I can say is that the guys are hungry. They're really working hard at practice. They're working hard in the meetings. They're paying attention, and they're very talented. We've got some guys. I don't think the cupboard is bare. We've got some talented receivers, running backs, some guys on O-line that can really move their feet well, and a quarterback, some guys that have great experience. So we've got the talent, and now it's just about honing in on the fundamentals and executing.
And of course, you weren't here for this, but after the last couple of seasons of struggling, especially this past year, do you feel like seeing a fresh face like yourself and these new coaches, do you think that sort of hits a reset button for these guys and it kind of gives them a new kind of energy here?
Yeah, I think it does. You said it best right there, the energy. The energy of the program, and really that's what drew me to here when talking with Coach Lustig, is just how excited the community is and the energy, and I think definitely the players feed off of that. And so, yeah, they've got a clean slate, and now they've got the high energy at practice and in the meetings, and that's going to carry out, onto the field.
And specifically talking about personnel, of course, last year was sort of a shuffling of quarterbacks, a couple young guys, and Jake Sisson and Jack Wallman. What can you tell us about those guys so far on your initial impressions and takeaways of working with those guys?
Initial impressions is they're both very headsy. They've both got great experience last year, and so coming in, they understand scheme, they understand fundamentals, so really I'm excited with what we have to work. And with just those two guys, they're both getting a ton of reps, and so we've really been able to evaluate quickly, and hopefully we can do it correct.
And I asked Coach Babich this earlier, but who have you relied on and who have you leaned on, and about what in terms of the familiarity with the PSAC and the competition level here and what to expect with the defenses attacking you?
Yeah. Well, our staff has a lot of carryover from guys that have been in Edinboro. They really care about Edinboro. They played here. So Coach Watson, Joe Watson, has been a great guy to work with. He's done a great job and bouncing ideas off of him and asking him questions. Then our offensive line coach, Jack Corey, he's got tremendous enthusiasm and a great love for Edinboro, and he's done a great job and really just getting those guys fired up and working really hard. And then really our running backs coach, Coach O'Neill, he's again, we keep using the word energy. The guys have a lot of energy, and so it's been fun, and they've really helped a ton.
What can you say about the Edinboro campus and community and the other coaches, everyone in the athletic department so far? How welcoming have they been with you guys now coming in here as new coaches?
Extremely welcoming. I mean, it's a great place to work in general. It's the campus is beautiful. I mean, it's really very exciting. Met right away. Met so many people I could barely even keep track of their names. But yeah, all the coaches in the athletic department are a lot of fun. And really just great people.
Well, Coach, welcome to Edinboro once again.
Thank you
Coach
very
Chris
much.
Lindbach, new offensive coordinator for the Edinboro Fighting Scots. An exciting time for Borough football as they make the transition with some new coaches here in town. More Scott Sports Show after this.
That's all the show we have for you this week. Be sure to stay up to date on all things Borough by going to GoFightingScots.com. But before we completely end the show, let's take a look at what is upcoming on the schedule for Edinboro Athletics this weekend. Starting on Friday, women's lacrosse. They face Kutztown University, looking to continue their PSAC play. Softball has a doubleheader at Cal University. First game at 2:30, second game at 4:30. Men's tennis and women's tennis both face the University of Charleston on Friday. Then comes Saturday. Softball has a doubleheader at Slippery Rock. First game at 1. Women's lacrosse is at East Stroudsburg. That game starts at 2. And then men's and women's tennis, they face West Virginia Wesleyan College at 4 o'clock. That is on Saturday. Also on Saturday, there are basketball games going on. The Final Four for the men's and the women's play this weekend. Mike, what are your thoughts on the teams in it?
I'll tell you what, some real surprises there. Syracuse is a 10, first time in history you see a 10 seed there on the men's side. And then didn't expect to see Villanova, first Final Four since 2009. I don't know, right now I'm thinking Oklahoma's got to be my reval pick here. I think Buddy Hield, hard to go against that. What are you thinking?
Look, I agree with you. I think Oklahoma gets there, but I think North Carolina just looks like an unstoppable force right now. I'm going to go North Carolina. And then on the women's side,
yeah,
isn't it obvious? It's going to be UConn.
It's going to be 4 in a row, yeah. It's got to be UConn.
We're going to see UConn. I hope you have a great day. To stay up to date on all things Edinboro athletics, go to GoFightingScots.com. Thank you for watching.